So you're thinking of moving to Scottsdale, Arizona, but before you make that move, you want to really understand the pros and cons of what life is like here in Scottsdale, Arizona. Well, that is exactly what we're going to be covering in this video. We're going to go through, break down all the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between, and we are not sugarcoating it. Scottsdale, yes, has a lot of incredible amenities, a lot of incredible lifestyle and things it has to offer, but there are definite drawbacks and cons to it, so we are definitely going to cover those as well. We have a lot to cover, so let's do this. If this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about moving to and living in Phoenix, Arizona and the surrounding areas like Scottsdale, then go ahead and subscribe and click that bell for notifications so you can be the first to know about what is happening here in the Phoenix market. My name is Samantha and my team and I help people every single day make their move to Phoenix, Arizona and all the surrounding areas, and we absolutely love it. So if you are thinking of making a move or if you've got questions, please reach out and connect with us. Give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. You can even hop on a Zoom call with us. All of that is linked below and we would love to connect with you and love to answer your questions and help you make a smooth move here to Phoenix, Arizona or Scottsdale. Okay, so we are going to jump into the pros and cons of Scottsdale. If you know what Scottsdale is, if you've heard of Scottsdale, if you've been to Scottsdale, if you live in Scottsdale, you probably know that Scottsdale is kind of considered the Beverly Hills of Arizona. It is high-end, it is luxury, it is beautiful, it is highly sought after, and it's expensive. We're gonna get into that more. First, we're gonna start out with the pros. Yes, I'm doing the pros first. I'm gonna do the cons later. I'm gonna make you watch the whole video, but you don't have to. Just like there's chapters, skip through it if you don't want to hear all the pros. But first, we're gonna start off with is it a beautiful city? Scottsdale is clean, it is well maintained, and it is gorgeous. It really kind of goes hand in hand with that luxury living, but the homes are beautiful, the neighborhoods are beautiful, the shopping malls, the centers, the parks, all the different outdoor areas, the trails, hiking, like everything is just so well cared for and maintained, and there is just a sense of people just having kind of pride of living in Scottsdale. It definitely is kind of a status thing to say you live in Scottsdale, but there is a reason for people wanting to live there, and it is really beautiful. It is well maintained and well taken care of, and you know, as you're walking around, you're really going to notice that. You're not going to see trash, you're not going to see, you know, things, kind of buildings falling apart or not well cared for. Scottsdale really is just beautiful all around, so that's definitely a pro. The next pro of Scottsdale, this is kind of one of, I think, the most important parts of Scottsdale, is there's so much to do. This is definitely kind of the winner in my book. There is something to do every single day of the week in every part of Scottsdale. Scottsdale is really big. It's 40 miles long. There's kind of South, Central, and North Scottsdale, but there is so much to do in every single part of Scottsdale. There is hiking, there's biking, outdoor activities. Obviously, there are the huge events like the Barrett-Jackson car show every year, where just like thousands and thousands of high-end retro cars come in. It's this huge deal. There's the Arabian Horse Show every year. The Waste Management Open, if you're into golf, like that is a huge nationwide and international golf draw, and people come from all over the nation and the country just to come for that big golfing event that happens for 1 week in Scottsdale every single year. There are shops, there are restaurants, there's incredible dining, there is outdoor activities, festivals, farmers markets, everything you could possibly want. There is always so much happening. They've got nightlife, they've got dancing, they've got classes. Everything you could want to do is in Scottsdale, since it is so highly populated and highly sought after, and is also kind of a place for tourists. There's just always activities and so much to do, whether indoors or outdoors, year-round, weekdays, holidays, weekends. There's always lots to do. So that's one of my favorite parts of Scottsdale, is you will never be bored. All right, our third pro is also one of my favorites. These are all going to be my favorites, all the pros. But the next pro is that some of the best food and restaurants is in Scottsdale. If you've seen my other videos, you know my husband and I are big foodies. He's actually a professional chef. I'm very lucky, so there's always amazing food around the house. But going out eating and enjoying food is definitely one of our favorite things to do. And so Scottsdale has some of the best restaurants around. They have you know, award-winning chefs, award-winning restaurants. They have a lot of incredible high-end restaurants where the experiences are just kind of unreal, and it's a lot of fun. But they have a lot of really inexpensive and affordable ones as well. And so whether you have a big budget, a small budget, whether you want kind of the high-end, fancy, like huge, extravagant experience, amazing views at like the top of a building, or if you just want something, a little mom and pop shop where you can go have a super casual, laid-back meal and enjoy it, Scottsdale has it all different price points. But there is really a lot of fun, different dining and food to be had here, which is definitely one of my favorite parts of it. All right, the next pro, this is true kind of any city in kind of the Phoenix metro area, but the weather. But this one comes with a disclaimer. The weather in the early spring, the late fall, and the winter It is beautiful, it is gorgeous, it's sunny, it's in like the 60s and 70s in that winter time, and then in the kind of the spring and late fall, it's gonna be in the 80s, and it is gorgeous. Like, it's literally sunny almost every single day. It only rains, I think it's like 25 days on average out of the year, so it's going to be sunny, warm all year round, which is great. So people are constantly out and about. Like I said, there's so many outdoor activities. You have you know, the hiking, the biking, you've got like those little electric scooters. Those are all over Scottsdale. You can ride those all around. So people just really enjoy being outdoors and experiencing all that sunshine and amazing weather. We are really into patios. So I was talking about restaurants earlier. Every restaurant here has a patio. Mostly, a couple don't, but almost every single restaurant has a patio here, just because the weather is so nice for the majority of the year. So you always get to see the patios packed. We love our patio weather here. So that is definitely a pro, is the weather for most of the year. The next part about Scottsdale is that the city is really convenient. So like I said, Scottsdale is really spread out. It is kind of, you know, 40 miles long. There's different parts of Scottsdale that have different feels to it. But anywhere in Scottsdale, you're never more than maybe 10 minutes away from everything that you're gonna need for everyday life. If you're gonna be in Central or South Scottsdale, everything is right outside your door. If you are kind of more in North Scottsdale, where you're in the mountains a little farther outside of the city, then you will still need about 10 minutes to get to everything. But within 10 minutes, you're gonna have grocery stores, coffee shops, gas stations, restaurants, shopping, everything you could possibly want. So everything is pretty close together and really easily accessible. So just having that convenience of having everything you need, never more than a 5 or 10 minute drive, is really great. And another pro of Scottsdale is just the quality of life. That is something that is really stressed in Scottsdale, is quality of living. That comes kind of with, you know, all the luxury high-end lifestyle, but also just people getting outside. You're going to see so many people constantly outside in Scottsdale enjoying the weather. Like I said, there's lots of hiking and biking trails, lots of parks and areas you can go and enjoy, whether it's by yourself, with family, friends. There's dog parks, lots of dog parks. Oh my gosh, sorry. Lots of dog parks in the Scottsdale area. So there really are just so many different activities and opportunities to get outside and enjoy that type of lifestyle. But wellness in general is a huge thing in Scottsdale. You are going to see health spas, like gyms, fitness centers on every single corner. I think there are like more gyms and spas in Scottsdale than like the rest of the Phoenix area, but there are tons, and that's just something that is very prevalent here. They're going to see all the different, like, you know, different wellness spas at the restaurant, but there's also a lot of independent wellness spas, salons, just kind of, you know, self-care, healing. There's a lot of different classes and different spaces for mental health, is where we want to do meditation, mindfulness. There's a lot of that all over the place. So that is something that is very unique to Scottsdale, is just that kind of focus on quality of living and quality of health. And the last pro actually kind of ties into that kind of wellness and healthy lifestyle, is that the healthcare in Scottsdale is incredible. We have some of the leading healthcare facilities in the nation right here. We have Mayo Clinic, which is in Scottsdale, as well as Ironwood Cancer Centers, and a lot of people actually come from all over the country or even internationally, particularly for those different services and the healthcare facilities that we have here in Scottsdale. Like I said, healthcare is a huge focus in Scottsdale, and so kind of having those world-class health centers here is really convenient. And Scottsdale was actually just recently rated one of the top 10 cities in the country for healthiness. I'm not really sure what all healthiness encompasses, but I think that general like lifestyle and health and wellness, like I said, it is definitely a focus here in Scottsdale. All right, now all the stuff you guys have been waiting for, the cons, the bad stuff, the drawbacks, let's jump in. All right, con number one obviously is going to be cost. Scottsdale is expensive. It is a very high cost of living, and there's definitely a price tag that comes with living in Scottsdale. Living in Scottsdale is very expensive. It's actually 18% higher than the national average. So that's just something to kind of be aware of. If you are trying to be very mindful of budget and cost, Scottsdale might not be the first choice, just because it is going to be very expensive. A lot of things that you may find in Scottsdale, whether it's like clothing, shopping, restaurants, activities, things to do, everything in Scottsdale is going to have that kind of like Scottsdale sticker shock, if that makes sense. Since it has that Scottsdale label, since it's in Scottsdale, it's going to cost more than it probably would cost like a few blocks down the road in Phoenix or over in Tempe, stuff like that. So that is kind of a bummer, but again, that just kind of is part of having that luxury lifestyle and kind of that Scottsdale living. Con number two, we talked about the good weather in the pros. Now it's time for the bad weather, and that is summer. Summer here sucks. Like, there's just no way around it. It is so stinking hot. It's like walking out your front door into an oven. Like, 115 is totally normal on any given summer day. It is crazy hot. Like, you can see the heat waves coming up from the street. You'll hear about people joking about, you know, cooking an egg on the street, or like putting a cookie sheet on their car and baking cookies. It's not a joke. I've done that as a kid. It is very real, and it's actually that hot. People will tell you it's not that bad because it's a dry heat. I call BS. 115 is still 115. It's still hot. So anytime from kind of June to September are the brutal months. It's still going to be like pretty warm in May. And then also October as well, but it's bearable. But June to September, you literally like stay inside, stay in the AC, like bunker down, go to the pool. But other than that, don't go outside, just because it is really hot. People who want to do outdoor activities usually are going to do it really early in the mornings. You want to get out and do your activities, whether it's golfing, hiking, walking, you know, running errands, stuff like that. Try to do it before 10 a.m. because after 10 a.m. it just gets too brutally hot to go outside. Number 3 is that Scottsdale is starting to become a bit of a tourist place. Scottsdale has been, you know, in really high demand for several years. So you're gonna have the snowbirds coming in seasonally, but then all throughout the year, there's gonna be a lot of people too. It's just really started to become in high demand. It's a hotspot and people come here any time of year. So you're gonna see a lot of people vacationing here. You're gonna see a lot of people coming for, especially kind of in South and Central Scottsdale, all the activities and the nightlife and kind of all that fun stuff. So you're gonna see a lot of like, I call them bro packs, but like bachelor parties, bachelorette parties, girls weekends, you know, people coming here on like fun vacation weekends for, you know, a long weekend, a week, stuff like that. There are just a lot of people in town. It gets a little bit less in the summer, but the rest of the year it is honestly pretty busy. So you're gonna see a lot of tourists, and with that comes people who are not used to driving here. Arizonans are a very specific type of driver. In that we don't really use our turn signals. We take the speed limit as a suggestion. It's not great, they're cracking down on all of that, but Arizona drivers are not the best. And so when you have a bunch of floods of people coming in who drive very differently, like traffic is just like a hot mess, especially in the winter here. But yeah, so if you're not a huge fan of dealing with a lot of tourists and people coming in for part of the year, whether it's a weekend, a few weeks, a few months at a time, if you're not a fan of that, then Scottsdale is probably not going to be the right fit for you, because that is starting to become more and more popular here, and there's more and more tourists every single year. Another con is going to be all the critters and bugs that come with the desert. So this is going to vary depending on where you're at in Scottsdale. Like I said, it's 40 miles long. Central and South Scottsdale are a little bit more built out, a little bit busier, but if you get up into North Scottsdale, you're going to see the really big estates. It's built into the mountains, long winding roads, so you really do kind of feel you're living outside of town and you're living in the desert a little bit. And so with that, it's going to come a little bit more of the critters, where you may see occasionally, you know, little snakes, maybe scorpions, things like that. So just be aware, there are pest control companies here that deal with it every single day, so you can seal your house for scorpions. You can tell them any, you know, pests you don't like and any concerns that you have, and they'll make sure that you don't, you know, see any critters and stuff like that. But they are here, they are part of the desert, so that's just something to kind of be aware of. And the last con is just that Scottsdale is growing so quickly in popularity. I mean, there's a few places where it can still be built out a little bit, but for the most part, it has been kind of built out a lot. There's a little bit of land here and there that developers are still kind of trying to fight over to do a little bit more building, but there's not a whole lot of land left in Scottsdale. So we kind of are at almost the housing capacity that we have, but people are still really wanting to move here. And so because of all that growth, people wanting to move in and less inventory in terms of homes, it's really starting to kind of drive up that price tag, which is already higher than the rest of the Phoenix area to begin with. So if you are thinking of moving to Scottsdale, just be aware that affordability is kind of continually going down. Living in Scottsdale is becoming more and more expensive, but there are still beautiful homes out there to be had. If you are thinking moving to Scottsdale, being sure to work with the right agent and the right team to make sure you actually have a chance at getting that home, because the market is still incredibly competitive here. So if you have any other questions about Scottsdale, let us know. I hope this list kind of helped. These are just some of the main pros and cons about living in Scottsdale. Hopefully you got some value out of it. If you have any other questions about Scottsdale, if you have your own pros and cons about Scottsdale, or if there's stuff I've missed or didn't cover enough, go ahead and let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you, hear any questions that you have. Like I said, reach out anytime. You can call, text, email, hop on a Zoom call with us. If you do want some free resources and tools, we've got guides to all the different areas like Scottsdale, everything around Phoenix. You can check out those free guides down below. If you want to know more about daily life in Scottsdale, you can connect with us on other platforms, or if you just want a free Amazon list of things that you're going to need to make your move extra smooth, there's that as well in the description box. So reach out anytime. We're here to help. We'd love to answer your questions, and until next time, we'll see you soon.